HK is known to produce guns with incredible staying power, meaning when they come out with a gun, it's going to be around for a very long time.
And because H&K is so diligent about their design, development, and production of firearms, you just don't see releases as often.
In fact, over the entirety of HK, we've only seen 10 pistol lines, the last being, of course, the VP9.
But here we are, and HK has finally launched the CC9, and I already know what some of you are thinking, that micro-compact pistols are nothing new. And that's true. But this gun has been in the works for a very long time. To put it in perspective, I shot the prototype of the CC9 3.5 years ago. So today we are going to find out if in those 3.5 years, HK has managed to bring us the new gold standard for micro-compact EDC guns. Well, here we freaking are for season 3. Season 3
Good to see
kicks
you.
off right now.
Great to see you.
We made it to Georgia.
Yeah.
Made it to Columbus, Georgia. You haven't been fired yet? We haven't been fired yet? I mean, we don't actually work for anyone. But
Well, these videos haven't come out yet. So.
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out.
Might not have a job here in a bit.
So everyone, thrilling to have you back. We know you're only here for James, and you're stuck listening to me and Chris as well. We got that. But we're talking about the HK CC9 today. A properly new HK pistol.
Completely
which does
new.
not happen very often.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal.
It is, and one that has been a relative secret here as well. I think even the fans out there that may think they have seen this before haven't. So this is good. It's awesome to be a part of what I think will probably be the first and definitely the best of the,
I mean, how
the
could it not be?
CC9 video reviews.
Yeah, how could it not be? I guess as a point of clarification, we were mentioning earlier, the CC9 is not, that we're discussing today, is not one of the European, what was the thing? There's like a German
the SFP9 CC.
Okay.
That some of the people have seen some photos of it being shopped around by H&K Germany at some of the shows previously. That's not this.
Yeah.
That weapon is still in development.
Yeah.
So this is a pleasant surprise. Everybody keeps asking, "Hey James, can you tell me when that weapon's coming?
Yeah.
When are we going to get our hands on it?" Well, now you got your hands on the CC9, and I think you're going to be really excited about it.
Absolutely. So we're going to take you through tour of the gun, talk a little bit about the development. There's definitely some interesting things there. But maybe for people who weren't with us last year or the year before and are like, who's the man with the majestic voice, hair, skin, like it's like frustrating looking at you sometimes.
I'm just the lucky guy that gets the call when you guys say, "Hey H&K, we want to do another video with you."
You're literally sitting like a model right now.
I don't know about that.
He's literally just
I'm
like
comfortable,
flaunting
I'm lounging,
Lounging.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's on vacation right now. I mean,
Well,
it's unreal.
I am.
Yeah, you've got a new book coming out as well.
Yeah, the Vickers Guide series. I'm sure a lot of the fans have followed that over the years. They brought me on for the H&K book series, which was great. They try and figure out how we're going to tackle H&K. Initially, it was going to be one book, and then we thought maybe 2 volumes. But as we got greater and greater access to not just HK USA's own collections and private collections, and the ability to unprecedented access in H&K Germany to their pattern room, incredible trip really bucket list trip for me
Yeah.
as an H&K fan. We are now going to be able to complete a 4-volume set. Volume 3, I just got my copy delivered. By the time this video comes out, the copies will be shipping to all the people who did the pre-orders, available on the Vickers Guide site, and we're starting the work on the 4th volume to complete the set.
Well,
So
if you need
really
to
happy.
consult with us, just let us know. We'll do some interviews, or we'll handle it.
Yeah.
We'll let you know about some HK shit.
That didn't
But
look
before we
promising.
do that, a couple of quick thank yous. Guys, big thank you to Ciguera Gear for sponsoring the video today. They make the belts that, well, I'm not going to show you here because I don't know what the rules are in that, but you can just assume I offset my belt buckle. That's just me. It's just what I prefer. But yeah, rocking a P2000 here in Columbus, Georgia. If you guys need a EDC belt, light inner Velcro would be my personal pick. I know a lot of you rock the Emissary belt. It's a little bit more rigid. I use that for just primary range belt. If you like battle belts, you can do the Battle Wagon. They got cool stuff for vehicle gear, different mag pouches, all kinds of, soft goods, things like that. So check them out. There's a code you guys can plug in. 1911 Syndicate, no spaces, all lowercase. It saves you guys 10% off of the store. Great gear, like I said. I mean, I've been in New Jersey and people be like, let me see your belt. Or they're gonna belt check me. I was like, you can belt check me, bro. And I showed them my shit, and the day went on, and they were like, respect. And I was like, yeah, you're damn right. So anyway, appreciate Ciguera Gear. On with the show. Here we are, boys and girls. So James, we are looking at the CC9.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Very exciting.
Pretty exciting stuff. Micro compact from HK. Obviously, this is most of the time we're like, hey, HK launched a new pistol. It's like, hey, here's a new variant of the VP9. It's like, this is a properly new gun.
Yeah, all new.
So
And
how did
special
we
for
get here?
a few reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is almost like a shared moment here between us,
Yeah.
because we actually met over the CC9.
Shooting prototypes.
Yeah. So, 3.5 years ago, at the same event where you got invited for media purposes, and I was there from a training standpoint, to see it now and to be here together, that's really a kind of cool, kind of full circle moment. So
It is very cool. And I feel like you guys may think we live in a land of like disillusionment or something, but I'm going to just forecast the comment section, which is going to have something to do with a little late to the game there, HK, right?
yeah,
Of people going like, okay, like micro compacts aren't anything new. These have been around for a while. But I think that that's actually probably an appropriate sort of rabbit hole to go down in terms of like, okay, well, let's address that.
Yeah, I think there are several firsts in relation to this. And as we just alluded to, for H&K, this is their first micro compact. And the comments are going to be late to the party. But for those who aren't familiar with H&K and don't really know how the design and development goes, generally, as a rule, a new pistol development program for H&K is about a 5-year program. For the CC9, this is about an 8-year program. And what that tells you is that H&K was much more concerned with making sure that not only did they develop what we believe is the best micro compact out there, but they weren't focused on, okay, we just got to get something out of the market. We've got to make sure we have something in the booth at SHOT Show. They
and then
wanted
we'll
to make
fix
sure
the bugs later.
Yep.
Instead, they wanted to do that on the upfront.
Yep.
Right?
They want to make sure they get it right. So that's the first from H&K as a micro compact. The next first, and this is incredibly important, whether you're an H&K fan or you're just a U.S. consumer, this is the first firearm developed and produced by HK USA.
Yeah.
I think some people...
Which is a big deal.
It is a big deal. I think some people are aware that H&K has a headquarters here in Columbus, Georgia, but they've kind of slowly and quietly grown this capacity down here to where they are now. In previous years, we've seen the MR rifles, the HK-45 series weapons, which were developed in Germany, are now manufactured in the U.S., but in manufacturing, we still have the majority of the components being made by H&K Germany, sent here. A few components are made here, like in the HK-45 series pistols. The receiver mold is formed here on the same German machinery as it does if it was made in Germany. And then they're all assembled, test fired, proved, and that's your manufactured. But this is the first one that's been completely developed.
Beginning to end.
Yes, and produced here at HK USA. And what that means is the ability to produce these at a higher number to meet the demand for the U.S. commercial market is going to be much greater, because you're not having to rely on the production timelines and capacities of HK Germany, which is dealing globally with all their other needs and meeting law enforcement and military contract needs. We can respond now directly to the U.S. customer base, and that leads you to the next first. This is the first firearm from H&K that was developed specifically for the U.S. commercial market. Previously, you name the weapon from H&K, it was developed either for a military or a law enforcement requirement. And then, well, since we already spent the time and money and effort to produce this for that contract, if available, we'll release it for U.S. or global commercial sales. This instead is HK USA's awareness that there is a demand for a micro compact in this respect here in the U.S. commercial market. And that leads us to the final first in relation to CC9. This is the first of what are going to be a series of new products for the U.S. commercial market made here in HK USA. So this is a great time to be an H&K fan, because there's a lot more than just the CC9 coming from HK USA.
Yeah, because you said products with an S.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm aware of what some of that is, and and I can say that James is not BSing you right now. It's a pretty exciting time, honestly, in the HK world right now. Like this is getting pretty cool.
It's the next evolution, right? Some U.S. developed and made products, as well as new products coming to the market.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's definitely been like timelines, within H&K. I think a lot of us look at the beginning of the 1990s as kind of the second generation, when they moved to the revolutionary space age polymer constructed handguns. This is another generation now of HK USA, coming out on their own and taking some new development. So great time to be an H&K.
But and I would say, look at on a practical level, like sure, this took 8 years. Like I said, I mean, we shot prototypes of these like 3.5 years ago, and obviously in the course of 8 years, they had prototypes before that. And sure, it took a long time to get, but I would just say, look, I would rather wait longer for the right thing versus what we see all too often, which is a manufacturer basically just say, hey, cool concept.
Push it out the door.
You buy it.
Yeah.
You tell us what's wrong with it. And we've seen that story play out so many times. And frankly, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like, it's frustrating.
Dangerous.
I don't want to be your T&E department. Now, sometimes we are, because we're actually T&E products, but it's like...
Average consumer.
Yeah, average, the plumber that buys a gun, he doesn't need to be your T&E department.
No.
Like, he needs to buy a gun and be able to depend his life on it. It's like...
And that it's reliable and won't shoot.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm fine waiting longer. Like, I get where you guys are coming from. Sure, it took a while, but it's like, hey, I'm okay with it, understanding the backstory, and it's like, it is kind of a complex backstory. And I mean, they did stuff in the development of this in terms of like sort of the torture testing, or like, what did you say? The round count.
750,000?
Yep.
Yeah, like 750,000.
Incredibly intensive development phase. And I'll get to that in a moment specifically, but on your line of discussion, because again, I think that is a valid concern that we should mention to the fan base here. I can understand, because we've seen it. There have been other European manufacturers that moved production into the U.S. of maybe an established product, or they're designing new products, and they stumbled out the gate on quality control, on reliability, fit and finish, and haven't lived up to that earlier expectation. That's not the case here with HK USA. As we talked about the long development phase, they understood how important it was to get this right, that they couldn't fail coming out the door with their first product. And that's what's so awesome about the development phase that's gone into the testing.
Yeah.
When they were ready to meet prime time, H&K USA took the CC9 over to Germany, and they ran it through all of the now legendary exhaustive testing for durability and accuracy that H&K has been known for. We've talked about this before with the USP and the Mark 23. tests on exposure to extreme temperatures in both directions, tests in high round count, tests in sand and dirt and mud, and
the one that I find to be very clever, which is this lint testing thing, which sounds like the most adorable torture testing ever.
They're just throwing a box of lint.
Conceived. Just here you go, just this fluff ball coming at you.
Right.
But it's like, hey, look, obviously you carry CCW guns. Most people carry against them against their bare skin, right? Which means they are getting sweat on one, especially in hot environments. But it's like the most likely sort of torture testing in adverse conditions is like human hair and shirt lint and like just this
body fur,
just gross shit, and it's like, so they basically, in essence, it's almost like they had a washer dryer, loaded it up with a bunch of lint, they'd spin these things around, just completely cake them, and it's like that was part of the torture testing. I find that to be very clever and fascinating.
And realistic, because yes, do we want to know that it can be dunked in mud and survive in all these different conditions? It's great. But
Sure.
for concealed carry, are you really doing that, or is it really a lint issue that's going to be a greater concern for you?
It's clever. I think it's pretty cool.
It is.
It's pretty cool. And I guess maybe just since there's no dedicated section on reliability, I'll just tell you. So I've had my gun for I don't know, three weeks, something like that. Not a super high round count. I don't even think I'm at 1,000 yet. I think I'm probably a smidge below 1,000. But I haven't had a malfunction or anything. Like I've been totally reliable on mine. I've only got 2 mags, a 12 and a 10, but I haven't had a hiccup yet.
Yep. I've had some great early access to this pistol a little longer than you, and put some more rounds through it.
It's almost like you said that despite me.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Like a little dig.
We came down and taught a class for the H&K staff and ran them through, running it pretty hard all day long with their staff. And I have seen in all of those situations, in my own training with it, with generally some lower quality ammo that we were using here today, and in that training as well, 0 malfunctions, which is incredible. Going back to the German testing, not only did it surpass all of that exhaustive endurance, reliability, accuracy testing, it surpassed other handguns from H&K's designs. So you would think a micro compact wouldn't be able to do that.
Sure.
You can really tell that they've got a winner here with this as a micro compact.
Cool. All right. So with that said, maybe we'll cut over to the range for a little bit of running some drills here. I'm going for the hostage.
You going for the hostage?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Trying to save Natalia's life.
Let's see it. Shooter ready. Stand by. Beep.
Nope. Stupid hostage.
Well, you scared the bad guy first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just nicked his ear.
Yeah.
Freaking knock him down. Damn it. Stupid hostage.
No, it's spring loaded.
I mean, that went decent.
Here, let's try with irons. This would be my first round on this gun too. So.
Oh, the hostage is smoked.
Hostage right in the face.
So the safest person is actually the attacker.
Dude, I just shot the attacker, didn't I?
No. The hostage has been thoroughly annihilated.
Was I that group on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought I was hitting the plate that whole time.
No, the hostage is smoked.
Just the shoulder.
Yeah, she'll recover.
So I was a little low on others, is what you're saying. Let me see that one with the dot. It's not going to be any better, so don't worry.
It was better.
No, it's better. Easier with a dot.
Yeah, much easier.
No doubt about it.
For a micro carry gun, though, this shoots not bad.
Trigger, what do you think?
Yeah. Let me throw some more rounds.
Okay.
I was more focusing on shooting the bad guy, right? So.
Well, trying to.
Well, with the dot, I definitely did.
With a dot, the bad guy's in trouble. With irons, don't be a hostage.
This is hostage now. So now thinking about the trigger's nice.
Trigger I actually really like.
Yeah.
Trigger is one of my favorite things about that gun. It's clean. It's not gritty.
No.
And the brake is nice and clean.
Yeah. I think it's pretty responsive coming back out from reset as well. And it's nice to see with your big meaty hands that you're able to get a good solid grip around, you know, micro compact pistol.
Yeah, he just called your hands fat, by the way.
Meaty.
Yeah.
In some cultures, that's a good thing.
Yeah, Samoan.
Yeah, I like kind of how the trigger is a hybrid of like a curved and flat.
Yep.
Like it, right? It's not perfectly flat. It's not perfectly curved.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I like it.
Here's the deal, everyone. If you're going to get a CC9, be a man or a woman and throw an optic on your gun. I would recommend you get that from Big Tex Ordnance. They carry the Holosun like I've got on mine. And they've got a bunch of other stuff, whether that's accessories for your ARs, lights, optics. I mean, it's like everything. It's like a superstore for tactical gear. You can get it all there. It ships super fast, so if you place the order before 2 p.m. Central Time, it'll ship the same day. Your order comes with a copy of the Constitution and candy, which means you can get a little bit patriotic and a little bit sugared up. I'm cool with both those things. Again, if they say it's in stock, it's actually in stock. They only carry good gear because they're actually shooters. That's something they really encourage their employees to go take classes and things like that. So anyway, plug in the code 1911SYN. That'll save you guys 10% off the store. And then if you guys looking for any other ways to support the 1911 Syndicate, Patreon linked below. So we're in Columbus, Georgia. We've actually got our MP5 class starting in like 2 days. So you can come do stuff like that with us if that piques your interest. Or real estate, we've got that linked below. If you guys need to buy or sell a house in a bunch of different cities, you can just go to the website, check that out. And that's it. Maybe, I don't know, we'll go in, we'll get some beef cheese. How about that? Does that sound good? Anyone? Beef cheese? We'll check it out. We'll leave a Yelp review.
Okay, so now kind of getting more comfortable with the CC9, I thought we'd do a drill that really favors this as an everyday carry type of weapon. If we're out there and we're using this in our daily lives, well, we're probably carrying something in our other hand. You know, I'm carrying my grocery bag out to the car. Everybody's got their cell phone up in their face. You got your car keys.
Briefcase of cash.
Yes, well, for some people, maybe. Yeah. Maybe you got your significant other. Well, not you,
definitely not him.
But Chris, and you're holding their hand. So when that moment chooses you and you have to draw that pistol, your other hand may be out of play for whatever reason, or maybe you get hit first and it's taken out of play. So we need to really focus on the strong hand only, weak hand only situation. And because this is a micro compact, you most likely are not going to have a weapon mounted light like you would on your full size VP9 with an X300 or something like that. So that brings into consideration of needing to be confident with your handheld lighting techniques. So we'll run some drills here, just getting comfortable with drawing with your strong hand and firing with your strong hand while you use one of your desired handheld lighting techniques.
Okay.
Okay. So,
cool.
What am I doing? A one round or what?
I'd like to see a draw and 2 rounds on target, and then safely reholster, and we'll run you through that whole mag.
Okay.
Excellent. Good.
Good hits.
Okay.
You want me to call threat?
Sure.
Threat.
Good.
It's the least audible steel I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I'm like,
the size of that throws people off, and they think they miss it, but it's not moving a whole lot.
You're hitting center mass.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't hear shit.
Yep.
Threat.
Yep. Excellent. Good.
This one you want to do 2 to the chest, 1 to the head?
You damn right I do.
Okay. Stand by. Threat.
Excellent. Good.
There you go.
Not today. Not today, criminal. Okay, give it a go.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep. Excellent. Good.
A little slow on that one.
Yeah. Come out of the holster a little faster. Excellent. Good job.
Actually turned it on, my bad.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay, let's do 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Okay. There's more
shooting.
throat, huh?
Yeah, good shooting.
He's
We'll
hurting
take
though.
that.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
confidence inspiring.
Yeah. Solid. So next time I'm carrying that briefcase of cash, I'm ready to party.
You'll be ready.
I am ready to party, and I like to party. All right, so let's take people on a little bit of a tour of this bad boy. Since no one's really seen these yet, let's just kind of show them what they can expect.
Some of the features.
So smallest pistol HK's ever made for one, which is kind of cool.
I mean, when you look at this, you can look and say, well, that's not too far off from, what you'd expect from a VP9 series that you're probably familiar with H&K. It is a striker-fired firearm. You can see on overall size dimensions, it's definitely going to be smaller at the front end, it's smaller on the bottom end, and it's about a third smaller in the width dimensions. And that doesn't sound like a lot if you're just looking at that. You really have to quantify it by holding it up to, another pistol to compare. But for concealability, that's a massive advantage.
Yeah, width on concealability is
Paramount.
It's for me more important than barrel length.
Yeah.
Barrel length's in my pants. Doesn't matter. Like width matters.
Yes, for concealability and for all-day comfort, a massive effect. You have on your slide, you've got front cocking serrations and rear cocking serrations. I really appreciate that, and I watched you when we were on the range working this through today. If you're somebody who likes to do your reloads and normally come over the top and do a power stroke, well, if you mount an optic on there, that can be more of a challenge. Allows you to get up there on the front and do that. As we just mentioned, optics ready. This is a great option from H&K. This is a direct mount, unlike the VP9 series we've seen before, where you have to pick your optic and then your mounting plate. We now have the RCS footprint, so you can mount any of your optics directly to it. We've chosen different optics here.
Well, the footprint is a RMSC.
Yes,
correct.
RMSC.
Yeah. The optic is a SCS.
Yep.
Mine is.
Yours is. I chose a different one. I've got a Meprolite option. I was looking for one that was as compact as possible in both height and width, but they also come with an outstanding set of sights. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of times you see on smaller frame guns is the sights were an afterthought. They're very diminutive. They're hard to pick up. You have a very clear, high visibility tritium front sight and blacked out rear with anti-glare features on there. And then on the receiver itself, you've got an accessory rail here at the front. You have ambidextrous controls for your slide lock, slide release on either side, which are very easy to operate. There's no stiffness. Easy to shoot both left and right-handed.
Well, and I'm a lefty, so I'm in the small minority of people that pay attention to this. So push-button mag release, not paddles. Honestly, I think as much as I love paddles, I feel like the gun might just be too thin to really pull off paddles, which is probably why they did buttons. Just spitballing.
It's a thing that, as an HK purist, you look at it and you say, oh man, I really wish I had the paddles. I'm a very adaptive person by nature, and so it doesn't affect me to have to change my technique. And the button type magazine release, I found I don't have to change my grip on this. And what I really like is it is ambidextrous. So unlike some where it's on one side but it doesn't work from the other side, you have to take it apart, switch it over. This actuates from either side of the weapon if you want to use it that way. Your trigger, it has very much a VP9 style trigger with your trigger safety in here. I think we've agreed from the range, it is a very good trigger as a defensive carry gun. It's not too heavy. There's no creep. There's no grittiness in it, and it's a responsive reset as well.
No, it's like obviously you got your trigger safety there, but then it's like, hey, that the take-up's really clean. We all could name striker fire guns. We were like, that's a bunch of BS right there, and then you finally hit a wall, and then it's like super creepy, and then it breaks. It's like, hey, look, really clean on the take-up. You're right on the wall, and then it goes. I'm gonna guess it's like, I don't know, 4.5. I'm just guessing there. I'm sure it'll be in a product sheet, but it's like, I found it to be a notably good striker fire trigger. Coming from 1911 world, we're trigger snobs, if we're being honest, and I'm like, I think that's a really good striker fire trigger. I like it.
Could be much worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know that there's going to be aftermarket guys that are out there going to try and excel as they always do, but there is nothing, in my opinion, that is lacking in this pistol relative to the trigger.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about the slide release. So one of so to me it was interesting when it came in. I was like, okay, so it's a very thin slide stopper, slide release. And I was going, okay, interesting. If you look at a lot of guns, it'll be a fatter slide release. This one's a little bit thinner. You can still index it and hit that on a reload.
Yep.
But I think and I'd be curious to ask an engineer if this was at all in the conversation, but the advantage of that thin one is that I've always had the gun lock back. I haven't had a time where I've gotten a click instead of a bang and realized I was actually out and I overrode the slide stop. So, I mean, even riding a high grip, I'm not overriding it just because it's pretty thin. Mm-hmm. And on a CCW gun, you go, okay, a lot of people that override slide stops, you go, if you're in a CCW scenario where your gun's out, you really don't want to click instead of a bang.
Correct.
I would assume have a thinner paddle to guarantee slide lock, personally.
Correct.
Sure.
So it's like, I actually thought it was a pretty clever little design there.
It is. It's not obtrusive to interfere with you riding the slide lock, but at the same time, at no point, either in the training I've seen with you guys today, or when I've been running my own training, when I'm running it in the training classes we've already taught with this so far, have I seen an issue where the students aren't able to manipulate it
mm-hmm.
with their firing thumb
mm-hmm.
and had to go to it. Now, if you choose that you want to just have your power stroke or slingshot technique be your default,
mm-hmm.
more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it is accessible, but it's not obtrusive.
Yeah.
So well thought out design. Moving down into the grip texture, you'll notice the design here, the stippling on the front strap and the back strap, the side strap. It is, in my opinion, just right for what it is. It's not overly aggressive, but it's not slick. For a weapon that in most people is going to be right up against their bare skin, either appendix or strong side, it does not create any kind of rubbing against your clothing or against your body. If you wanted to put grip tape, of course you can go out and do that, but I think they struck the right mix there. And the back strap, like we've seen with other H&K pistol designs, you have the ability to change out the back strap to customize to the specific shooter's hands. Each pistol is going to ship with two. There's a standard size, or what we call more of a medium size, and then there's the larger, and that's what you see mounted here on mine. For most shooters of medium to large size hands, I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to put the large size on there. I think a lot of times people pull it out of the box and they don't even check to see where their grip is because they don't understand the relative positioning, what you're looking for. You're trying to get the center of the most distal pad on your finger centered on the trigger. Mm-hmm. If it's too far over, it's going to cause you to inadvertently pull left. If it's too far off the right, you're going to pull right. This allows you, even though the grip is significantly more narrow than a full-size gun like a VP9, with this larger back strap, it doesn't just increase this bottom palm swell like you see a lot of times, it increases the length of distance from your palm all the way to your trigger finger. So you get the same length of distance there as you would on a full-size gun. That's an incredibly important factor, as we'll talk later about the shootability of this weapon. Mm-hmm. And then another small touch, which you probably won't notice at first glance, on both sides of the receiver, just here above the trigger guard, they've put a little reference point in the same texture here. This is a great index point for training. I like it on the left side. For me as a right-handed shooter, it allows me to index where my thumb is every time I'm doing my grip. So I'm reinforcing those good fundamentals that I've got a good solid grip and my thumb is out of the way of the slide that could cause some kind of stoppage or malfunction if I'm not in position. But likewise, on the opposite side, it allows me, when I come off the trigger, mm-hmm. to index to let myself remind myself I'm off the trigger when I'm manipulating the gun for a reload or a malfunction clearance. Those 2 points probably, again, would be overlooked by the average, observation. But I've really found that to be very helpful when you're running the gun.
Yeah, awesome.
And then last but not least, your magazines. In order to reduce the overall size, especially in the width of the gun, H&K has done an amazing job of taking the magazines that we're familiar with in the VP9s mm-hmm. with now 17 round magazine capacity, and they're going to each ship with 2 mags. You're going to get a flush fit 10 round magazine and a slightly extended 12 round magazine. I think most people are going to find the 12 round is
Yeah, it's the
perfect because you can get, even with a micro compact, most people are going to be able to get their pinky on the bottom of the gun, and that allows you to get a much better grip relative to that. So 10 or 12 round magazine capacity in some extremely well-made magazines is another great hit for them.
Okay, so all that said, cool gun. I've had a good experience with it. So I guess in essence, like why should I care?
Okay, that's a good point. I'm a huge Y guy myself, and I'm a huge H&K fan. So, you know, H&K would have to really create something crazy for me not to want to go buy it just because it's another H&K to add in my collection. But this is one that I've been waiting for a long time because it fills a specific need. I think if you asked, you know, the general follower, why would you purchase a handgun? There might be lots of different reasons. There might be some kind of sentimental reason. You know, I've got a Walther PPK because of the impact of James Bond and because it was passed down from my dad to me.
I have a PPK that is the exact same story.
So there you go. But that doesn't mean that that's the ideal gun to carry.
I will not carry that gun. Not going to happen.
We obviously spend a lot of time working with other guys, other friends, teaching training classes, taking training classes. You see a lot of people show up to training courses, even courses that are supposed to be concealed carry classes, and they show up with the full-on race gun that's got, you know, the extended ported barrel, and it's got the, you know, flared magazine well, and the 20-round mag, and the giant optic, and it's got the X300, and that's great on the range. And there's a reason why they do it is because it makes them a better shooter in the class, and everybody wants to be the top shooter, but that's not their carry gun. When people ask me, hey James, I want a gun for personal protection, I'm gonna carry it, what should I get? I generally tell them, you want a gun that is as compact as possible, that is still something that is you can shoot well and is reliable. If there's something bigger and you're a big guy and you can get away with it, that's great, but don't go any smaller than that. For most people, depending on where your environment is, how big you are, and how you conceal, most guns are just too big for that.
Yeah.
And if your gun is too big and it's too heavy and too cumbersome, we're all human beings, we're all inherently lazy by nature, we just won't carry it.
Yep.
Even if it's our everyday carry gun. In my opinion, a micro compact, and specifically this CC9 and everything it brings to the table, is that ideal solution for that specific set of I need to have not just an everyday carry gun, but a gun for that day. It's no good to have a carry gun that you left at home because it was uncomfortable, too big to carry. I need to have that gun when the moment chooses me. This is a great selection. Is it going to be my choice for every situation? No, of course not. That's the great thing about having options and a wide variety, especially with H&K, of different firearms that you can select. But I'm also a realist to understand that, hey, we're in Columbus, Georgia. Most of the time, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt at this time of the year, and I can't get away with carrying an HK45. I can here with the CC9. So if that's a concern for you, if having a gun on, regardless of, you know, how you're dressing and what the situation may be, this is a great option. That leads me into three key areas that I really want to discuss relative to CC9, and that's reliability, shootability, and concealability. I think reliability is crucial. Obviously, anybody who knows H&K knows that is their primary focus. They're never going to release a product just to have something that's a pink gun or to fill some need. It has to be reliable first. And there's a lot of people who have tried to gravitate towards smaller guns, mouse calibers, some other type of weapon, and they bought it because of its size and because they can put it in their pocket or whatever. And then they actually try and shoot it, and they find out that it won't run reliably, or it only runs on this type of ammunition, but that type, those kind of things. So reliability is crucial. And when you go to a pistol of this size, regardless of who's making it, all the same physics apply. The 8-step cycle of operation that a full-size VP9 has to accomplish reliably, so does a micro compact, but now it has to do it with much less real estate. So I've still got to have all those same key things. I've got to have an extractor, an ejector, and a recoil spring assembly. But now I've got to shrink them down. H&K did this using a chassis design, which allows each of the individual necessary components to be smaller and somewhat less, I wouldn't say fragile, but not as thick in giving us strength as it would be otherwise. But in the chassis design, through that system, you bring strength to all of the components instead of individually. That makes it crucially important. And then one of the other things that really stuck out to me was the recoil spring assembly. You have to have it reliable across the range of ammunitions you're going to fire, because you may be the guy who goes to the store to get ammo for the training course we're going to teach this weekend, and all they had was the bargain box, cheap run stuff. But you also may want to run, plus ammunition in there for your concealed carry type stuff. The ability for a weapon of this size to run reliably across all those different ranges is incredibly challenging. We've seen other companies have some serious stumblings with these kind of things. That has not been the case here for that. So reliability out the gate is always a strength for H&K products, and it's really, I think, the primary thing that separates the CC9 from other weapons in this category. Shootability. It's great if it's reliable, but if I can't hit the broad side of the barn, what good is that? And we've seen that before as well. I can't get my hands around the gun. The recoil is too snappy. I can't see the sights. The controls I can't manipulate. The magazines don't function. Whatever those things are, that's a major issue. H&K spent a lot of time focusing there. We've touched on the sights. Incredibly easy to pick up. High-vis tritium front sight. The inclusion of the ability to mount an optic. We all agree. I mean, that is not just the wave of the future, it is necessary for us
mandatory.
to be better.
In a micro compact,
required.
That, and in my opinion, sorry to cut you off, rail is also mandatory.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Having those features on there, and now a wide range of optics. H&K's working again with HoloSun for a 2025 release of a optic package that you can get direct from them, like we've seen with the VP9 series. So that'll be available here soon as well.
Awesome.
So that's a great thing. The controls, I think we all agreed today shooting that, the ability to get to the controls, to manipulate it easy, to do reload smoothly is key. And then we've touched on this as well, but the recoil management on this. It is a very flat shooting gun. Most other guns of this size are very snappy recoiling. It takes a lot more focus on your grip, and you have a lot more difficult time getting your sights back on target for those follow-up shots. But you guys proved it today, your ability to get a very rapid cadence and confidence in putting guns where you are. I watched you guys shoot our Humbler drill, which normally I have guys who are great shooters with full-size guns really have a challenge with, and you guys did an amazing job with a micro compact. So the shootability is another thing that I think really separates this pistol apart. I don't think you're going to see somebody who's coming from maybe a VP9 SK or even a full-size VP9 type gun come down to this and feel like they are less capable because they now have a smaller gun. And that's confidence inspiring. And then the last one, concealability. And I think I've really touched on this when we talked about those issues, but all-day comfort in this has been great for me. We talked about before, I love my P7 M8, but my P7 M8 is an all-steel gun. It's heavy. And even with the right holster, carrying that all day long can be cumbersome at times, and I can't put an optic on my P7 M8. So being able to have that on this, I think, has made it a great option for concealability, whether I'm in a t-shirt, a light pull down. I haven't had any issues with comfort or printing on what I'm doing. So, I think they've really knocked it out of the park with this, and I think the fans for H&K are going to be super excited about getting this. But if you are looking for a micro compact and you've been disappointed with what you've seen elsewhere, I think you really got to give the CC9 a look.
Oh yeah, awesome. Okay, before we wrap it up, let's take you back to the range.
Where are we at right now? Starbucks?
At Starbucks, we just ordered a Caramel Frappiato.
Oh.
Pumpkin spice edition.
Threat! 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 That was a spicy macchiato.
I felt, yeah. Oh, it's the pumpkin.
Yeah,
The pumpkin. It's just, when that shit hits, oh man. yeah.
We doing that again?
You guys want to do it again?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to top off.
Run again.
Don't top off, do a
Make sure you
reload.
got the ammo.
Okay. I just walking around with a gun that's got 2 rounds in it. That makes sense. A lot of fucking logic in this. The caffeine hit me so hard, I forgot to top off my mag this morning.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking
The moment chooses you.
jittermobile over here.
Threat! Threat! Threat!
No.
Oh, and I was empty. It's all right. I hit all my rounds, so we're good.
Good.
Yeah, it melted down.
I had that no slide lock again.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. But good. Again, another confidence-inspiring drill in a real-life type situation of not being prepared for the situation, not even being able to see the target and knowing how to work with each other. We like to see guys build up to this. But this is the kind of stuff, again, that why I'm carrying a gun like a CC9
Yeah.
is to be in a situation like Starbucks and being able to react and be effective on target. You know, a lot of guys I don't think are as confident with a micro compact because it's just not as shootable. But you guys are proving that it is.
Yeah, I mean, I smoked.
If you do your part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to do your part.
Certainly.
I smoked the manager. So, to be honest with you, manager's having a bad day.